And yeah, there he is making another turn now onto Glen Oaks Boulevard. Glen Oaks also runs north and south right next to the 5 freeway, so he still has the opportunity to get back on if he hangs a left-hand turn on any of the majors coming up.
And this becomes even more dangerous. He's on a surface street now. This looks to be almost residential in nature, even though it's 2 lanes here. He's clipping along, and you know, this time of day you see people riding bikes, you see people walking, and
Whoa.
He is very aggressive.
Oh yeah, he is not waiting for anybody. If you are a slow driver in front of him, he's just going to work his way around you because he's not waiting for you. He's not waiting for a stop sign, a red light. It doesn't matter. But here's that turn I was expecting. And sure enough, he's going to make that turn here onto Roscoe Boulevard from Glen Oaks. Going to be over the 5 freeway. That's the 5 freeway that you see there. And here he goes, getting back on the freeway, southbound 5.
A little diversion there. Whatever he was planning obviously didn't work out, so now he's back on the freeway. You've got that one CHP car. This is about as close as I've seen the CHP to the suspect.
Oh yeah, this is very close, and I can't imagine that he would be efforting an attempt to do a pit maneuver at the speeds that the vehicle is traveling at. But he is right on his tail, really the closest we've seen, as you just mentioned. And this is also the slowest that we have seen this person go as he continues here southbound 5, still in the Burbank area since he got off and then got back on. He's basically traveling where he already had, and you can see those CHP units in what's called Code 100. So basically they're getting on wherever there's an off-ramp or on-ramp, they're staging there. In case this suspect were to get off again, they would be ready to go. And they're also able to hold back traffic that may be trying to merge onto the freeway.
You know, interestingly, you were talking about the pit maneuver here, and it sure looked like the CHP was positioning for that. But as you pointed out, Ileana, this is not something they do when they're going at speeds like this. Just exited at Empire Avenue there?
Yeah, I actually think that's the Buena Vista exit, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the same exit he got off before, and I had just misspoken on the street name earlier. So we're going to see that same curvy street here coming up. This would be a perfect time for a pit because he is so close. But let's see, coming right under, not waiting for the red, and continuing straight ahead. And this is a smaller street called Winona, and this will put him into a residential area, like you were describing before, Colleen.
You know, we just heard there's a elementary school or a school just down the street there, but fortunately there wouldn't be any students there with the coronavirus. So, but you would see a lot of kids out playing in a neighborhood like this right now.
Yeah, that's the sad reality of it all, is that a lot of people are at home going on a evening time walk, riding their bikes, and then this guy comes right at you at the speeds that he has been traveling at, and really with no regard for anybody but himself. And let's see what he does here. He may be slowing down. He's actually going down an alley now. This is an alley in the Burbank area, just off of a street called Lamer. No pedestrians in the way is what I'm hearing the airship saying, so at least we don't have any pedestrians to contend with here. But this is, again, is a residential area in Burbank, that CHP unit close behind.
Yeah, he's
you know, so many
right
times we see these pursuits end up in a residential area. And this guy has been here twice now, not on the exact streets, but in the same general area. And as Colleen so rightly mentioned there, CHP officer got very close, perhaps trying a pit maneuver. We don't know.
He looked like he was positioning for that, Chuck. He really did. He was what appeared to be just a few feet away from the bumper, and for whatever reason, just backed off a little bit. Ileana, do you have any idea what the surface street is here, or what this neighborhood is?
Yeah, this is a small neighborhood just off of Lincoln Street. So we're still in the Burbank area, but it is still the California Highway Patrol that is in pursuit. They could relinquish it to Burbank if Burbank wants to get involved, and if they don't think that it's going to get back on the freeway. But for now, the California Highway Patrol is still going to be the lead agency on this as he gets on to Glen Oaks. Yet again, oh, close call with that car there that was waiting at the light. So he's back on Glen Oaks, just crossing over Keystone.
He's picking up speed once again. Hey,
yeah, really picking up speed on the majors.
Does someone keep track of all the lights that he blows when they finally charge a guy like this, or do they not really care?
So typically what the lead unit will do is they will call it out, and the dispatcher back at the dispatch station, they will write it down as the pursuit goes along, because it would just be simply too difficult for the lead unit to count every time this person runs a light. And I'm actually hearing the suspect description right now come across the scanner. They are describing the suspect as a man, and there is no description for anybody else, which just kind of confirms that what we were thinking before, that it is just one person in the car.
That appears to be a park he just went by. You could see people there. And I want to bring people up to speed if they're just now joining us. What we're watching is really a high pursuit chase here. Very fast chase. It started on the 14 freeway in the Santa Clarita area, came down to 14. This guy was doing 110 miles an hour, took the 5. He's in the Burbank area right now on surface streets. It's a stolen car, they believe. Ileana, you called it a cold-plated car. So in other words, the plates on the car didn't match what the plates were registered to. They were registered to a Honda. This is a Mercedes. And apparently he came at one of the officers with this vehicle.
Hey, Colleen, sorry about that. We were just watching what he was doing here. He's going to go northbound 5.
Yeah, you look like he hit something.
Yeah, there was construction there. He crashed through the construction zone to get onto the 5 freeway, but it looks like he's going to get right back off. So getting off here at, I'll get you the exit here, but it's San Fernando again. So still in the area of the 5 and San Fernando Road.
Well, he certainly wants to stay in this particular area once again. So, like I say, that might lead you to believe it's a familiar area to that male suspect. And perhaps this is where he plans to end this pursuit by getting out of the car, which many of them do, or maybe just continue.
And that is typically what we see in pursuits. People tend to return to an area that is familiar to them, to abandon the vehicle and then run into their home or perhaps a friend's home to try to hide out there. Because he has been circling this general area, it does lead us to believe that this is perhaps an area that the person is familiar with. And again, this is going to be the Burbank area, just off of San Fernando Road. Wow.
Whoa.
That was so close.
Wow, we have seen so many close calls, and except for that construction zone that he just crashed through about a minute ago, he really hasn't hit anyone, which is truly a miracle considering how quickly this guy has been driving and how dangerously he has been driving during the course of this pursuit.
Ileana, this started just after 5 o'clock this afternoon?
Yeah, just about, and it was in the Santa Clarita area. When we picked it up, it was near the 14 freeway and Via Princesa, and it had already been going on for about 10 minutes prior to that. I'm hearing now that Burbank PD is being called into the mix, so perhaps they're going to attempt to take over. There is a Burbank PD unit right there, so we'll see if they get into the pursuit. But for now, it looks like CHP is still going to be leading the chase here coming through Burbank.
Eliana, is that more protocol or what when they bring in the Burbank police, since the Highway Patrol has had the car, or is he just spending too much time on surface streets in Burbank and they feel like they've got to call in the Burbank PD?
Yeah, because he has been in the Burbank area, they're going to be best suited to follow a pursuit that's on their streets. They know where all the dead ends are, the cul-de-sacs.
Okay, we've been watching this, and I think we have the picture back right now. Let's listen into Ileana. Did we get it back? Ileana, can you give us an idea? You have me now?
Yeah, I have you now, and we also have this pursuit here on Glen Oaks Boulevard now, one of the majors here in the Burbank area. And if he continues on Glen Oaks, he could get into the Sun Valley area and then eventually Pacoima. But for now, continuing northbound here at Glen Oaks.
You know, it amazes me because when we're home this hour of the day, a lot of people are out walking. Now you see a lot of sidewalks there. We haven't seen very many pedestrians or people riding their bikes at all. Boy, he's picking up speed.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, he's really picking up speed here. He doesn't like to wait behind any vehicles, so whenever he comes up to a car that's going slower than he is, he will use that right shoulder to get by. And look at that, just weaving through the traffic here. He's not waiting for anybody.
He's still on Glen Oaks, you said?
Yeah, so he's still on Glen Oaks here in, oh, here we go, making another turn. He's making that same turn that he did before. So let's see if he gets back on the freeway. He's not, I don't think so, at least. Let's see, here's his chance. Is he gonna do it? He's gonna do it.
He's
So
gonna head right
exactly the
back
turn
on.
he did before, he's doing it again.
Yeah. Now he stopped.
And now he's stopped, oh, dropping things out of the
trunk. Oh, look at all
trunk.
that coming out the back. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the suspect stopped the car long enough to open up the trunk and let some stuff out. So we had heard about white bags before. Those look like white boxes now.
That makes you wonder if there's somebody else in there pushing those out, or if just he took off with such a start, they fell out of the back.
Yeah, it
You
really
gotta believe
makes you
that was
wonder if somebody
purposely
was
done,
back
but we're
there and
not
pushed
sure.
them out. And now he's going to be driving with his trunk open here on the southbound 5 freeway.
Yeah, it looks like there are other boxes in there. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah. It does, Colleen. Looks like there are several. A large one there and another one next to it, and one is about to come out, it looks like.
Yeah, they look like cardboard boxes with what looks like a red logo, and a few of them back there.
The kind of boxes you use if you were moving or something like that, you know, packing stuff up.
He may be exiting again. Nope. He passed the point where he could have exited at Buena Vista, which is the street where we had seen him exit twice, and is instead continuing here on the southbound 5 and coming into that construction area that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Typically, we see the workers right there in that middle section, the section that's on the left side of the screen. At this point, I'm not seeing anyone right now, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be some workers up ahead.
So now you have the added danger. Well, don't you, of not only this guy who's driving so recklessly, but at any time those boxes could come out, and that would create another hazard for anyone who's behind him.
Yeah, we don't know what's in those boxes. If they're empty, then it's just going to be a distraction. But what if they're full? You know, and then that debris goes into the roadway. So this really makes for an added danger for the units that are chasing him and for everybody else who's on the southbound 5.
Ileana, what's this exit he just got off on?
He had just passed Empire. I think this is going to be the old Burbank ramp, actually, the old Burbank Boulevard ramp. They've been working on this one, so this is the portion that's still under construction. You can see all the construction there, and he's exiting right there, and is going to be getting onto what I believe is going to be Burbank Boulevard.
Headed back, what, southbound now? Is that the direction?
Yeah, so he's Burbank and Victory, just outside of the Burbank Costco. For those of you who live in the area, you're going to know where that is, right at Victory and Burbank Boulevard. A busy area, really, whenever the store is open, because you have long lines, you have a lot of cars, and you have a lot of people here through the area. But he's continuing here at Victory Boulevard, starting to pick up speed as things continue to fall out the back.
Yeah, it looked like something rather a smaller object. Now, Eliana, the 5 boxes that came out earlier, obviously one of the units in pursuit is going to stop and pick that stuff up and check it out, correct?
Correct. I actually heard them describing on the scanner to the units that were behind that didn't see those boxes fall. They described their location. They described them as being on the on-ramp to the 5 freeway, so I can guarantee you that some units stopped to pick those items up. Again, we don't know what's in there. It could have no significant value, or it could have a lot of value, but that's something they need to determine when they get their hands on those items. But right now, their primary concern is just getting this person into custody as a box slowly falls out the back.
There's a larger box.
You know, at the speed he's going, you've got to wonder if somebody's in the car. No, do you see him just jump up?
Oh my gosh,
right
came
there.
out now. Whoa.
Right there, just collided with a police cruiser. Let's see if this brings this to an end. He's on Monterey, and he may be running.
He's got the door open. He's running. He's running.
He's running here into the neighborhood. Units are approaching. And he's starting to give up. He's down on the ground just on the other side of this tree. We will bring News Chopper 4 Alpha around to show you that. But again, a residential area in Burbank, just off of a street called Monterey Avenue, is where all this is coming to an end. Units getting into position to take him into custody.
That almost looked like the high sign that the car was empty.
Burbank.
Did you see that there? The two officers directly behind the car walked up, gave somebody a high sign. You see the canine come in as well.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that nobody was in the vehicle. And again, this is going to be Monterey with a cross of Myers. Monterey and Myers in the Burbank area. And that, as you mentioned, Colleen, they cleared the vehicle to make sure nobody else was inside. And it looks like this is going to be our only suspect and this person now in custody.
Ileana, we saw that he hit something. It was a black and white that he hit as he came around the corner there?
Yeah, it was a police cruiser. I believe it was going to be a CHP. I think it's this one right there. You can see the damage there to the front bumper. And it is, in fact, a California Highway Patrol vehicle. The door is open, which means the officer is out of the car somewhere and likely in the mix of this team of officers that is taking this person into custody. I'll continue to monitor the scanner, though, to hear if that officer was injured in any way. But the sole suspect who led officers on a wild pursuit out of the Santa Clarita Valley in a stolen car and also wanted for assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. That person is now in custody.
Right, you see them walking back to the car. We've been covering this since about 5:15. It started just after 5 o'clock. As Ileana said, the want on this was a stolen vehicle. That is a white Mercedes SUV, and the plate on the car was registered to a Honda, so they knew immediately when they ran the plate this might be a stolen car. And then one of the sheriff's deputies, when he approached the car, we understand that the suspect allegedly ran the car at the deputy, so then it was considered assault with a deadly weapon. But boy, this was one dangerous.
Thank you, Beth. Cool. Thank you, Jeff. Sorry, I think Jack is calling. Let me answer. You need a plate? Sure. Yeah, it looks like nobody else in the car, guys. I can almost see the plate. Thank you. Jessica, I think the plate's gonna come into frame here in a moment. I can see it, but it's blurry for me. I don't know if they can read it. Will they let you descend anymore or no? Yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you.
You asked things to do while social